Bam! I'm back. You thought I was gone, didn't you? One of them fabulous days in August. Shout out to all my family all over the country and possibly the world. I'm just gonna drop a few little tidbits, some stuff, some stuff you knew and some stuff you didn't know. My favorite season is upon us. Football season, that's right. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, football season is coming up. And yes, I am a die-hard Washington Redskins fan. Okay? But we're going to talk about a team name. Recently in the news, Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, was in the news stating that I'm not going to change the name of my team. It is a proud name. Of course, he came under fire from a lot of people. And folks got to really understand something. And I've been down with, changing the name day one. But folks, you got to understand something too. You got to get together. You got to get your money up. Daniel Snyder is a very, very wealthy man. No doubt. So as we got together in the 60s, we stopped some of these things going on. We got to do the same thing. We can't blame Daniel Snyder for the name. We got to go all the way. Sometimes, folks, we got to do a little history searching. We always try to attack the present and the past, but we have to, in order to understand the present and get a clear understanding in the future, we got to go back in the past. 81 years ago, a man by the name of George Preston Marshall brought this football franchise from Boston, we call the Boston Braves, to Washington. And he aptly named it the Washington Redskins. Why? Because he could. You got to think about it. Most of our most sacred and most greatest Native American tribes were basically wiped out. Trail of Tears and the other issues, pretty much, if you go all the way back, hell, the white man wiped out the Native American population, starting with the Pilgrims on up. Just literally pretty much wiped them off the face of the earth. When they discovered that Native Americans were sitting on oil reserves in Oklahoma, they were killed. When they discovered that, they had vast lands and fertile things, they had gold on these lands, guess who wiped them out? You guessed it. That's right. So why are you complaining about Daniel Snyder and the name of the Washington Redskins? When you create an issue and the issue gets a bad press or bad, all of a sudden you turn an about face and you want to stop it. When the Native Americans have been telling you, hey man, y'all the disrespecters us all these years, man, can y'all stop? And it's not just the Washington Redskins, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Atlanta Braves, and the Cleveland Indians. I'm saying, as John Hall, there should be no team named after a Native Americans. I mean, you got everybody jumping on Daniel Snyder. Let me give you a little tidbit about a certain name of a certain team in Dallas. Cowboys. The word Cowboys. Give you a little history on the word. Cowboys were to describe the black field hands who took care of the cattle and who took care of the ranch. They already called black men boys already. But since, we handle the cows and the cattle, they said, you know what? We'll call them cowboys. Yes, don't try to fight me on this, because I do know that history. I do know that name. One of the most famous of cowboys was Bill Pickett. You wouldn't have the rodeo if it wasn't for Bill Pickett, but that's another story. That's just as derogatory as can be, but we've come to accept the Cowboys as the good guys. But now we want to attack Daniel Snyder. How about let's go after Claude Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go after the Atlanta Braves baseball team, who were once the Milwaukee Braves. Let's go after them. My thing is, leave my damn Washington team alone. Go after these other teams that have Native American names. Period. I know black folks wouldn't want a team called the LA Niggas. I know the Irish wouldn't want a team by the name of the Irish Potato Farmers, or the Cuban refugees. Folks, if you want to stop one team from using a Native American name, stop them all. Because last time I checked, a lot of Native Americans don't like to be called Chief. That's not a sign of pride. Hey, Chief, what's up? They do have names. I give you a story when I was a kid, watching the Atlanta Braves before Ted Turner put together TBS. The Atlanta Braves used to come on a channel in Tampa, Channel 44. And they had a real derogatory mascot by the name of Chief Nakahoma. Now, good old Chief used to come out of a TP dancing with a baseball bat on his hand, doing a little dun 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 dun. Folks didn't find nothing wrong with that until later on. Folks pointed them out. Hey man, what if we had a dancing black man coming out there tap dancing and shuffling? So they got rid of Nakahoma. Chief Wahoo of the Cleveland Indians, he'd been in business for years. They even call the stadium the Reservation. They got a TP on there and everything. Think they don't? You think Chief Wahoo is not derogatory? I think so. But you come after Daniel Snyder because Redskins happen to play in Washington. You got politicians who can't even pass one simple bill to help Americans, who can't even raise the minimum wage, but they're worried about what a billionaire names his football team. So all you no good politicians out there who misrepresent your constituents, when you come up to Washington, get busy on something else. You got these same stupid ass politicians wanting to sue the president for executive orders. The same stupid politicians who, like I say, want to go after a team owner. Stick to what you do, making laws to hopefully make this country better. Well, stick to what you doing. Stick to what you do the best. And leave Daniel Snyder alone. As far as to my Native American brothers and sisters, keep up your fight. Get your money together. Sooner or later, the name will be changed. But don't just go after the Redskins. Go after the Chiefs, go after the Blackhawks, go after the Indians, and go after the Braves. Because to me, none of those names are proper. It's like in high school in my hometown, Lakeland, Florida, Lake Gibson Braves. You know, sorry. Think Lake Gibson could have named something else. Name the team something else besides the Braves. I'm sorry, it's derogatory. Had this discussion before with some alumni. They need to change the name. We'll change the name of the Lake Gibson Braves. It's derogatory. We don't like people running around and calling us spear chuckers. We don't like people calling us watermelon eaters. So why call those folks out of their name when they were the first inhabitants of this nation? I'm John Hall, and that's my rant. You can check it out. Send your comments to me. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, I'm fine with it too. I don't care. I'm John Hall, and you're not. Saying goodbye. Enjoy your damn self.